Let me begin by telling you how important you are. At Suncoast Community Church, we don't go by Suncoast as much as we try to live by the word, our middle name. So what's our middle name? Community. And we are community. And as we begin to develop a community in this wonderful place, it seems like there's a lot of unity, there's a lot of symbiotic relationships, and there's a good feeling about what's going on in the life of the church. I mean, from the Grand Hall, which is a huge space where people converse, to the coffee bar which out there that, is providing some excellent meals on Saturday night, and even now starting to introduce, I saw avocado toast there this morning. I'm just saying there's some food out there that may not have been available. So just trying to let you know. Avocado toast.
Avocado toast.
It was delicious.
2 words.
Yeah, I didn't have it.
You guys have already had some?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't afford it. Anyways, but it is really, you'll be loving it if you try it. So lots of things I want to talk to you about. At Suncoast, we've been around 20 plus years, and we're talking about the things that matter to us today, or the things that we've accomplished over the past year. But let me collectively say, when we use the word we, it's not we who did it, but it's we who did it. Your resources, your involvement, a lot of the stuff I'm bragging on is the things that you are a part of because we're a community. It's not just the pastor does this or the children's director does that or whatever, but it's what we all do, and we buy in here as community. So all these successes I'm going to talk about today, I want you to realize they're your successes, and there's some things you've been involved in. And some of you would say, yeah, you better believe it. I was washing those cars. I understand. And you were. So, but as we talk about these things, let me start by reminding you of the values of Suncoast. Number one value, we're a hospital, not a courtroom. We think that anyone comes in here, doesn't matter where they're from or how broken they are, they need hospital care and need to be loved and accepted. Churches traditionally have not been quite so accepting. Sometimes we get a little judgmental. You have to fix your life and then you fit. But here we just simply say, come in, and we are the island of misfit toys, and that's okay. But we love to be a part of that.
I figured we'd get an applause from this group down here.
Right here. Hey, that's right. I'm in there with you. But we're a hospital, not a courtroom. Second thing we try to do is encourage people to take personal responsibility. So often in our lives, we blame other people for what happens to us. We blame our job, we blame the economy, we blame our spouse, a cousin, health issues. But our choices often determine who we are. And secondly, unless we take responsibility for our life, if I'm always blaming someone else, and I used to laugh and talk about my wife right here. If you've not met Becky, it's my wife. So, and I tease her that I blame her for everything, but when you blame someone for everything and you don't take personal responsibility, you'll never change who you are or the way you live. Because why should I change me? It's never my fault. But when it is my fault and I own it, there's this wonderful possibility of change. And we believe people who take personal responsibility for their life grow and become healthy in life. And lastly, we believe that we all bring something to the table. That means that we're not just here to be always taking, but we want to learn how to give back in some fashion in our life, and we try to do that. So let me begin by introducing this team to you today. I'm going to start over here on my far left, and this is my son, Ryan Bauckham. And if you're in here, you heard Ryan sing today, and Ryan's been a part of Suncoast since its inception over 20 years ago. And let me introduce Rita to you. Rita started working here how many years? When did you start coming here, Rita?
I think it was 2012 when I was an intern.
So she was an intern here in 2012, and almost 3 years ago, Ryan and Rita got married. So that's a wonderful thing too. But Ryan is kind of one of the lead guys here. He really controls a lot of the ins and outs of Suncoast, does a lot of administrative work, plus he also helps with a lot of creative things. Rita is probably the most creative person all of us have ever met.
On the planet.
She is outstandingly creative. And a lot of the stuff that you see at Suncoast has her DNA already in it. And she brings Ryan along for support, which is wonderful too.
I can lift somewhat heavy things.
Yeah, he carries equipment.
Yeah.
So, but they make a great creative team, and together, honestly, they both are very creative, and they're really fantastic to have on staff. But a lot of the creative stuff is in this end. And then Sherry Connor, if you haven't met Sherry, I guess you have. Sherry has worked for me for this September will be 16 years. And Sherry came in as to be my assistant. Now she's evolved in the organization of Suncoast, where she really is one of the executive directors. She runs the show. People say, what does she do? She doesn't just do one thing, she does everything. And that she does it so well. But Sherry is an important part of who we are, and I'm delighted to have her as a friend and a colleague. She really makes me better. And I need that. So, good influence. Now, the other person that makes me better, somebody said, try harder. Yeah, that's a good one.
Wow.
Good one. Yeah.
He's poking him out.
I would scold him, but I know him. And I can't argue with him. He's right. Anyways, Becky is my wife. Becky and I celebrated our anniversary. Some people don't know who my wife is because usually she's working in children's ministry. But she's been doing children since the inception of Suncoast, even before. We've been pastoring for 37 years. She's been involved in children's ministry that whole time. A lot of pastors will find their wife standing with them, shaking hands as I do in the Grand Hall, but her passion is kids, your kids, and because she thinks they're valuable and they're important. We celebrated our 43rd anniversary on Thursday, so it's a wonderful thing. Thank you, Becky, for being here. And Susan on the end is, Susan is, well, we call her the queen of everything. So if not, she calls herself that. But Susan has the deep Texas drawl, y'all, and we're glad that you're here. And it's bad when a Tennessee guy is complaining about somebody's southern accent. But Susan brings so much life here. She's worked here for 18 years. And you start looking, 18 years, forever, 20 years. Sherry's been here almost 16 years. Rita has been here since 2012, so 8 years. Mm-hmm. And Ryan's been here for 20 years. This is not people who just got here. And they represent some of the leadership of who you are. And when you call the office, you talk to one of these people, and they're delighted to help you. So I wanted you to meet them first, but then I'm going to ask them some questions, because as we talk about the state of the church, I want to first say it's healthy. Right? I mean, I think it's healthy. I think it's unified. Someone asked me how I was doing today. I said, I'm healthy, and they said wealthy and wise. I said, well, I'm really not too wealthy, really not too wise. Come to think of it, not too healthy either. So, that's right. That's right. It's all good. It is production. But Ryan, we'll start with, I'm going to start with Rita today. Rita, we started something about a year ago called Coffee Talks.
Yes.
And that's, we do that at the beginning of the service, and you talk to people on every weekly basis. You interview them. Who do you choose and why?
Well, can I first say, you guys make me love doing Coffee Talk. Seriously. It is so much fun. So we came up with the idea of Coffee Talk because we figure we have so many cool people around here, not just on staff, but in the community. So why not have them come up and just talk for a little bit with real voices? We get to know them a little bit. Here, maybe sometimes it's entertaining, maybe sometimes it's educational. But that's kind of the only time that we have conversation on stage that's not scripted and planned. And we figure when people are coming in, sometimes if it's just canned music playing with a graphic on the screen, it can be a little kind of somber. So we thought if there's something that you can come into and listen to, and maybe that sparks conversation with the person sitting next to you, why not do that? So we started doing it. It's been a little over a year. And the way I pick people, to be completely honest, I just randomly choose them. But usually it's people that I have good conversations with during the week, and I'm like, ooh, like Sherry sent me a great video, and I'm like, I want to talk to you about that on Coffee Talk. So it's evolved for sure. It's not just been the same the whole time. But yeah, it's just to get to know people.
Yeah, and it's a great thing. If you miss it, it begins our service every weekend. Every service starts with Coffee Talk. So you grab your coffee, come in here, and then you can have a Coffee Talk, or you can stay in the Grand Hall, or whatever you do. But at least we need to know there's an option for you. And Ryan's been involved in so many different areas of Suncoast, many, many areas. But today I've asked him to talk about, music. We do a lot of music here. Why are we doing new music?
Well,
why are we doing that, and what's the point?
I'm involved with music probably less than I have been in the past, but I'm here to represent because I'm here to represent. So, and Chase, it's his birthday today. So if you miss Chase, send him a text or shoot him a message and say happy birthday. He's not here. He doesn't come to church on his birthday. I don't know what that means, but
although he may be watching right now, so who knows?
But no, Chase and Evan have done a fantastic job of leading every weekend and doing the music. And really, what we're trying to do right now is write a ton, and it becomes complicated and difficult because we're here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we're off Friday, and then we're back Saturday and Sunday for the weekend services. And during those 4 days, Monday through Thursday, we have to plan for the weekend. We have to plan for, we have all these random events, which you'll hear about through the Suncoast Kids, and there's lots going on. So in those 4 days, we have to plan the weekend and also try to write songs. So last year, we released an EP, which is a short album, 3 songs of originals, and then we wrote 8 more songs last year. And the challenge this year, starting in January, was to have a full-length record done by April 1st. It may be impossible, I'm not sure, but if it's not impossible, it just means it's difficult, which means it's doable, which means we're going to make it happen. So we've been writing like crazy, and so it's just any moment that we have a spare moment, we're sitting down and there's 4 different people in the house running ideas. And even last year, we released some songs and played some songs for you guys. And some of them I think were great, and some of them I think we'll never play again. It's just one of those things where you have to try things out. And so we've been pushing really hard for that. And why we're doing that is because we found with a lot of the music that is in the kind of church arena seems to have the same 25 words said over and over and over again. And we were just getting tired of a lot of the music that we were hearing come out, and it was just kind of the same thing over and over and over again. And the church traditionally has been a place where it puts out great art, and it's the forerunner for a lot of the great music and the great paintings and things like that. And we wanted to be a part of that. We wanted to revive a part of that. So we've been really working hard to write stuff that's outside of the box, that's using new thoughts and new ideas. And Rita's been a big part of that too, because again, of that endless source of creativity. But the hope is that we can have something like a full-length album, and we can play it here, and that would be fantastic, but also be able to give it out to other churches that may be having a similar struggle. How nice would it be for us to be able to send a jump drive that has all the chords, all the lyrics, all the songs, all the backing tracks, everything pre-done for them, so you go, hey, if you're looking for new music that's a little bit outside of the norm, here you go. These are songs that you can play in church. They're not the traditional worship songs. Not all of them are, some are, but there's some different kind of feelings and different kind of things going on here. And so that's what we're really pushing to do, and we think that will impact other churches in a beneficial way, and also be able to give you guys good music to listen to throughout the week and then here on the weekend. But it's a work in progress, and it's not easy, I gotta tell you.
Yeah, and that's true. So there's and which leads me to the first thought today, and it's in your notes. There's a lot happening behind the scenes, and I'm going to talk to children for a second. But before I do that, I want to give Ryan a little kudos. Ryan is not as involved in music as he once was, but every major instrumentalist on our stage, he's recruited them, befriended them, played with them around town, and the next thing you know, he's talked to me about, hey, you need to just let this guy, could you pay him part-time? Could you just give him a little something? And next thing you know, they're full-time. So he is responsible for all the great musicians that you see, and we're grateful for that as well.
They're good people, too.
Yeah.
They are. Some of them. Most of them.
That's good. Okay, but there's a lot happening behind the scenes. So Becky, I want to talk to you for a second. There's a lot been going on with Suncoast Kids this year. I mean, there are children's classes each weekend. During our services, they're going right now. There's over 500 different kids that show up at Suncoast throughout the year. It's a lot of different kids. So, the way the attendance has been lately is it's not that everybody comes every week, but they all come every other week or every third or fourth week. So, but we have free summer events, we have campfires, movie nights, parenting, all those kinds of things. Why do we do this for kids?
Hello. Well, we don't just do it for kids, but we do it for the families. And we have kind of 2 large rocks in the children's area. First rock is our kid classes that are running simultaneously with our services. So right now, the kids are being taught in their own prospective age groups. And, they get the Bible stories, they learn about how God loves them, and they get to do music and crafts and activities and build relationship with small group leaders. And so lots is happening actually in each of the adult services in the children's area. So that's one of our big rocks. And we have staff that actually teaches the classes and also volunteers that are hands-on and really help the staff as they run the classrooms. The other big rock we have are our free family events, and we we run those throughout the year. There's summer time fun events, there's campfires, there's movie nights, and so throughout the year we have family events, and the purpose of those is to allow our families to come to a free event and let the parents and kids connect together, let the families connect with other families, and it's just a lot of fun.
It's good. So, and that's an important, and some of us don't see what happens in the kids area, but it's highly structured, it's well run, and it's, it's something that we could not be where we are today without the support of this wonderful part of our congregation. So thank you, Becky. Susan, you get to oversee lots of things, the queen of everything, and you get to oversee, for example, Anita Cupo in middle school and high school, and they meet on Saturday night. They also meet on Sunday morning, and so what have they done this year, and why do we do this for the middle schoolers and the high schoolers?
Overseeing Anita Cupo. Really?
It's a lofty idea.
We can't even find her
right there. No, if you have kids that go over to the park, you know that she's Mama Cupo, and she does a lot of things. Actually, Friday night there was an 80s dance party. We've had summer camp. We took high schoolers skiing in North Carolina. We did a big Christmas event. It's just, she's constantly doing something with the kids. Movie nights, campfires, whatever. But it is so important, I think, especially at that age, that she is teaching them about how much God loves them. And she's teaching them in a way that they can understand and the things that they're having to deal with. And so that's just huge, how they really connect with her. But they're also learning to connect with each other. And that's important. They honor each other, and it's a safe environment. It's wonderful over there. If you ever get a chance, come on my tour. You could go see it then. But we've also taught them that they need to give back. And last summer at camp, they packed 10,000 meals for Rise Against Hunger. Yeah, they've gone to stuffed backpacks. They've painted a house. They do give back. So all of those things are really important over there.
And that's teaching them one of our third values, which we think is important. Everyone brings something to the table. So Sherry is right here, and I haven't talked to Sherry yet. So what is Grand Central? We launched that this year in the Grand Hall because I kept saying, go to the place where the tables are, where the carpet squares were.
Right.
And they didn't like that. So
No.
what is Grand Central?
So Grand Central, it's not the hotel lobby desk where you reserve a room, and it's not the place where you order a Manhattan.
Yet.
Although
Just kidding.
it's a place where anyone can go to get information about what's happening around here. So we still honor our first-time guests, which we still refer to them as VIPs, because it's a big deal to come to a new place for the first time and to not really know where to go and what to do. But we didn't want people who are new to feel like they were under a spotlight, because that's just uncomfortable and awkward. And so they don't have to stand out in order to be welcomed. So we still give them free t-shirt, a jump drive, a free coffee card, information. We sign you up, if you're new, we sign you up for an email that we send out every week. And we just kind of try to keep you connected to what's happening here as much or as little as you want to be connected. So it's a very low pressure place, but also if you've been around for a while and you want to sign up for the oil change, or you want to sign up for the tour, or you want to know how to get involved with serving, you can go to that space and there's someone behind the desk that knows what's up and can help you.
Good.
So it was really fun to give it a name.
and we rebranded it this year, Grand Central. So it's where the carpet squares used to be in the Grand Hall. I'm just kidding.
Those carpet squares
Where
were
the high
getting-
top tables are,
Yeah.
Those carpet squares
those
were getting
things we never.
squirrely.
I'm banned from saying those things. But so we've had several major events this year. For example, in the last year we had a women's event. Jen Hatmaker and Nicole Nordeman were here. There was 1,300 ladies here. And,
Yes.
that was wonderful for you. I know particularly there was Easter, which there was over 2,000 people here. Easter, there was the 20th birthday in the summer. There was 1,500 people approximately then. And then in the Christmas Eve, we had over 2,200 people that come through for Christmas Eve. So these are big times and big things. But the question is, why do we do these big things? Why is it important that we do big events on occasion?
I think sometimes people need a special reason to come, and we do it really well. We try not to change our primary Easter services too much so that people can get a sense of what it's normally like. But our Christmas Eve service, I mean, people don't want to miss it. And we were able to do 4 services this year, and it was amazing. And the sentimental Christmas, that was the genius from right down here. Those guys are amazing. It was fun. It was fun. But it gives people a reason to bring their friends and bring their family and to come celebrate with us and realize that church isn't a weird, stuffy place. It's relevant and it's fun.
Yeah, and they come once a year, twice a year, and they go, hey, these are just normal people like me. They're not going to make me handle snakes. Yet. Yeah, I was waiting for that. But just to where ordinary people can come together and we can connect on some level with each other, and connect on some level with God, and become better human beings to our community. We think that's important. But I was going to brag about one of the big events this year. The most recent was the Sentimental Christmas, and Ryan and Rita were instrumental in that. And what was your idea behind that, Rita, with all these?
Go ahead, Rita.
You ready? Tell me what was
what was going through your head during that process?
What sensory things were you trying to get accomplished? What did you want them to do?
So Christmas is my personal favorite time of the year just because it seems like everyone's happier. They're more willing to let the kind of stress of the year, like it is a stressful time of year, but it's almost like, okay, we're going to put that aside and family comes together and you're doing these things that kind of build memories. And a lot of times you have traditional things that you repeat every year. So we thought, okay, sentimental, that's a good word. How can we play off of that? We were still trying to remember who came up with putting the C in there.
Everybody on the creative team claims that it was their idea. So,
so we'll say it was.
So it was my idea.
Stephen literally just stood up. It was Stephen's idea. Totally, he gets it.
No,
it's not. But so with every Christmas, it's one of those things where we want it to be different every year. We don't want it to be the recycled thing that everybody goes, oh, Suncoast is the place that has the camel that comes through the room. That's cool. We want it to be something that challenges us as the creative team. We want to do something that scares us, that we've never done before. And so this year we thought, how do we make... Has anybody seen the... Camel. Has anybody seen the movie Up? That is a movie that just pulls at your heartstrings, and we thought, okay, around Christmas time, how can we tell a story that kind of encompasses the meaning of Christmas, the family, if you're spending time alone, what does that do to you? And so we started thinking, okay, how can we tell a story and show people and then incorporate music in that? And then how do we make it even cooler? We'll put scents in the room so that when the person in the video is smelling something, then everybody in the room gets to as well. But what was really cool about this one was we used volunteers as actors. And that blew me away because a lot of times you don't really know what to expect with somebody who's like, yeah, sure, I have interest in acting, like I'll be in it. And they just knocked it out of the park so much so that people came up and were like, where did you hire those actors? I'm like, those are Suncoast people. Those are your people that
we did put an ad on Craigslist, and that got some interesting responses, I gotta tell you.
That was pure entertainment value for all of us. Yeah. That was very interesting.
And if you were one of those people, I'm so sorry.
We had a good laugh.
Yeah.
But it built this connection to people. People came in and they got to watch their Suncoasters up on the screen, and it told this story of love and connection with people and with family, and the band played the live soundtrack behind it.
Right.
And it was just beautiful.
I think one of the big things that we try to accomplish is we want you to either laugh or cry or ideally both. And so that's what we were trying to accomplish. We wanted you to have an emotional connection. The people that come in maybe once a year to have an emotional connection and say, man, this is a place that I have a good memory. I want to walk away with a good memory. And that played into the pictures out there. Take a picture and have this as a positive memory with your family. That was the main objective. All that to say, there is thought behind the things that we do, although sometimes maybe you don't see the behind the scenes and the inner workings of those things. We put a lot of thought and a lot of intention into it because we do want to provide the best chance for people to connect to this community and to this church. So,
Excellent. And then to have something like that, it takes so many people to make it work. And Sherry is our person who works with many volunteers. Sherry, how many volunteer hours do you think we had this past year?
Well, I like to crunch numbers, and so we put together a cumulative total across every area of the church. So weekend services, kids, teens, oil changes, all the different ways that we've served in 2018. And you guys did 10,000 hours last year. It's amazing. It's amazing.
At $10 an hour. No. But anyways, but thank you for that, because it is something we could not do by ourselves.
No.
We simply are representing you, and we want you to see the mirror of reflection that's you have made a difference in our community. And some of you say, well, I haven't done anything. Well, and you may be right.
There's room. Sign up.
But there's room for you to sign up. But some of you who have been serving, you are a part of it, and really, in many ways, people contribute here, and your resources financially have made a lot of this happen too. So you've contributed in many different ways. So other things we talk about this a lot, but we give a lot of cars away. We've given away 20 cars 3 years ago, 20 cars last year, 20 cars this year. It's amazing to give away so many automobiles. And why is this important? Because there's so many people who really don't have the capacity to get around or get to work. And just this week, we gave away another car and received a thank you note. And Susan had the thank you note, so I thought it'd be appropriate for her to share that with us.
This is the note I got on a text, and it said, I think I've been in shock about the car. I can't stop crying today. I cannot express how grateful I am to Pastor Larry and the Suncoast family. You guys have made such a difference to my family. The financial burden that has been lifted is unexplainable. Thank you a million times over. I'm overwhelmed with love and appreciation.
I love that because we hear the numbers sometimes, like 20 cars or whatever, and it just gets thrown around. But when you start to hear one thing like that and you realize that's happened over and over and over and over again, that we're consistently doing that, it meant a lot to me when you read that in the staff meeting. So
yeah, it was, and thank you for the note, because it encourages us, and we appreciate that. So a couple ladies were here last night for the Saturday night service, and I looked out and they were crying during this. And I go, why is that? Because it wasn't them, but they're driving cars just like that we've given them. And they said, I was so identified. And some of them called me and said, thank you so much because you helped me. It's more than just a car. It's just so much more. And for that, we say thank you, God, for giving us that opportunity to be a part of this bigger plan to help people in a greater way. So we want to thank you for that. So we do lots of car things. Oil changes are fun. We do that once a month. And why do we do that? Ryan, why do you think we do all these oil changes?
It's funny. I was going to be the one to give you that question, but I'll take it. I think the reason that we do the cars and the oil change, for one, is it plays into our core values of taking responsibility. And a lot of times it's really difficult to take responsibility when you're so far down and you have no way to get to a job, or you have no way to pick up your kids, or you have no way to do that. And especially in Sarasota, it's not a place where public transit's like a real option for a lot of things. Since we have this property, we're out east, we have this pole barn, and we have these lifts and everything, it's become a thing that we've started changing the oil on cars. It's almost like preventative maintenance, trying to give something tangible, but not give too much to where people become dependent on us for everything and can't stand up on their own. And then doing the car thing, there's just so many people that are like, I would love to, I've got this job, but I can't get to work. I can't get my kids. And just over the years, it's become a thing that we found to be practical and to actually help people continue to take control of their lives and to do what they could do. It never seemed to be toxic. because we're not giving away like Mercedes or anything like that.
Right.
But,
No, keep your Mercedes.
but they're good cars that run, and then we end up changing the oil in them.
Right.
I think you said Saturday at the oil change there was a couple of cars.
Two of the cars that we've given away, we changed the oil in on Saturday. So they just keep coming around for more maintenance.
And that's just it's a way of doing something that is helping others help themselves, and that's core to what we do, because we've, even with that book Toxic Charity that you read, Susan, that somebody gave us, and just the difference between giving something that is good for them, that'll help them, and then there's a way to do charity or to help somebody and it doesn't actually help them. And we have to be very, very careful about that.
Which leads to the second point. We take a different approach by avoiding toxic charity, which you've just explained that very well.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Sorry.
Who would have known?
Whoever's point I took.
No, that's fine. So what is toxic charity? It's simply giving someone so much that they can't stand on their own. What happens is I become weaker because you give me something, I don't get out and work for it. We want people to work for it, but those who've just taken a dip or a hit, we want to help them back up so they can continue. If they're always a dependent on us, we've not helped them.
Right.
That's toxic. But we can help them, and we all go through a time. Everyone here has gone through a time where you've been kicked in the shins or you hit a bump in the road, and you could use a little nudge up, and that's what we're trying to do with this without being toxic to people as well. So I think that you said that very well, Ryan. So Susan, we talk about partnering with many people, and we do partner with many nonprofit. Can you give me she's the queen of everything, the queen of also our ministry partners.
I like that so much.
And can you tell me, what are we doing with our nonprofits? Who are they? Give us a quick summary for those.
Well, I think you're not only a good pastor, but you're a good businessman. So when we don't need to start a soup kitchen, we don't need to start a clothes pantry. What we need to do is put our volunteers and our resources behind people in the community that are already doing a good job. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
So let me tell y'all a little bit about what we did with our partners last year. So these are our Suncoast partners, and we have Lifehouse Counseling. And they are able to keep their counseling costs low because we let them house here. But 80 people receive scholarships, or we received 80 hours of scholarship counseling last year, thanks to y'all. For Mothers Helping Mothers, we're a drop site, so we do get the collections here. And we loaded and hauled 1,500 pounds of donated goods each month to Mothers Helping Mothers. We sorted 2 busloads of donations. For Big Brothers Big Sisters, we really have helped raise awareness for the need for mentors, and that's very important. But also, we advertise to them our free events, so the bigs have some place to bring their littles that's free. Safe Children's Coalition, y'all brought us 1,400 plus backpacks. So that was huge. And then our youth went and stuffed those backpacks so they could go out to the foster kids. We also, for National Social Worker Month, fed them lunch at their offices, and they were all like, nobody's ever done that for us before. So that was awesome. Along with the backpacks, although they're not an official partner, y'all raised $1,200 for Conahel, which is a nutrition and education program in Guatemala. And they were hugely grateful for that as well. Now, the empowerment group was started by Connie Kaufman, one of our own, and they have helped 24 individuals. It's for people 18 to 35 that just need a hand up. And it's just helped so many people through mentoring, budgeting, maybe helping a little bit financially, but we also helped them raise $7,000 in donations, so that was huge. And now we have a new partner, Blaze of Hope. We gave them a bus last year, and actually, if you look on the back of your weekend notes, you'll see that they have a fundraiser coming up, which is a new way that y'all can help. And so if y'all want to know how you can volunteer, how you can get involved with any of our partners, see me at Grand Central.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? You've done all that stuff, and you say, but I didn't do any of that. Yes, you did.
Yeah, you did.
You're part of a community that does that, and we give you credit for that as well. So let me tell you a little bit about the point number 3 today, and I think this is something about the future. The future is online. What does that mean? I mean, we live stream our services. 150 computers every weekend are turned on watching us, and part of them are watching now. If you're watching this, thanks for tuning in. Our online YouTube channel, since 2013, we've had over 1 million views. That's a lot of views from Suncoast material. Why is it important that we think the future is online? Because we can reach beyond our walls and talk to others. And Ryan, we just worked on a video center, and what are we going to be doing there, and why is that important to us, do you think?
Well, I think it's important to state first that obviously this isn't going away. This is to say the future is online. I don't want it to sound like it demeans what's happening here and now and what this has become by any means. But I think that part of engaging with you guys and other people throughout the week isn't to do necessarily another service, but to be able to deliver more content that is geared for the online community, because it's something that you can revisit, that you can send to your friend, that you can engage with during the week. So we've been working for quite some time now on an area designated to being able to make more content that you could get midweek or that you could get consistently. So some of that will be podcasts, some of that will be small, bite-sized theology kind of things. There will be some things for your spiritual life, some things just to make you a better human, to help you, encourage you throughout the week. One of the things that we used to do, Susan was talking about this, or maybe it was Sherry, I can't remember, I'm sorry. But we were talking about how we used to go to conferences because we needed to go and learn from the experts, and how just a few years ago we were still paying to go to these, fly all over the country and go and hear from these experts. But now we don't do that anymore. We go on YouTube and you watch the TED Talk or you watch the person, and then you pause it and you talk about the thing and you go back and hear what they said and write it down. And it's so much better in some ways to get the education in that format. And so instead of just always having everything live and just for the service, we want to have good content and good things coming from Suncoast that will benefit you and that you can use as a resource for other people as well. One of the things we started, that we just started this week, or 2 weeks ago, was the parenting class. So it's a class that, Susan, tell us just a quick second about what the parenting class is.
It's great. It's practical advice, and it's all about the relationship you have with your child, but it actually tells you where to put your feet, what to say. So that was a lot of fun, actually, doing that. And we've done an intro and the first one.
Right. So then you took that, and Rita and her sat down and they did it in a podcast format. So if you come to the class and you liked it, or you don't have time to come to the class, now you can go on and you can have it all right there. And it's still in kind of a dialogue format. So we want to put out more content like that because we think it's beneficial for you, and it's also something that can be shared. So that's coming in the future.
Isn't this a great place? Thank you. So let me say a prayer for you, then I'm going to tell you a closing story. Father, thank you for your love and grace. Thank you for what we accomplish as a community, because it's so much greater than anyone could ever do individually. Thank you for this team of leaders, but thank you, Father, for the many, many, many volunteers, those who support us in so many different ways, those who encourage us. There's so many friends out here today, Father. I thank you for each one of them. Bless them today, I pray. And may they sense the Spirit of Jesus in all that we do, because we are followers of the teachings of Jesus of Nazareth, and we celebrate his life today, and we want us to reflect that so well. Do your work in our hearts, we pray in Christ's name. Amen. Stand, please. Someone tell you a story in closing. You guys can be seated. Yeah, you guys can be seated. Here's the story. Recently, we found out at Suncoast that 2 of our family members had children with retinoblastoma. If you don't know what that is, it's a cancer behind the eye. One of the little girls had her eye removed already. She's 5. It's just horrible. The second little girl's 2 years old, and she had it behind both eyes with potential blindness. This is not just people that we know casually, people we know very well. And in going to Miami to take care of this little 2-year-old, the family, we found out, and they don't have a lot of resource, and they had 4 kids with 1 on the way. So since this even happened a few weeks ago, they've had the 5th kid. We got together, Suncoast, some guys that attend Suncoast, and I give you credit. They said they don't have a vehicle that's adequate to drive that family back and forth to Miami. It's not a good enough car. It's not a big enough car. And at your generosity, we bought them a nearly new Honda Odyssey van. Isn't that a great thing? It has a DVD player in it, not for the kids, it's for parental sanity, if you have that many kids. But as we do that, I just begin to say, I need to tell this community, you are a part of something that's so great and so wonderful, and I want to thank you for your generosity and your faithfulness. God loves you, Day. So do I. Thanks for coming.